We kind of knew this day was coming, and it looks like the 40K adaptation by Amazon Prime Video is going to be dead in the water. They couldn't figure out what to do. We'll get into what Archcast was talking about this in just a moment as we go over the, I guess, good news. I mean, as a fan, Prime Video is not going to do a good job with this. I'll kind of give their history of just destroying projects too. It's sad. Henry Cavill really cares about Warhammer 40K. We know this. He cares about the lore. He respects the lore. But this is just not the environment to make a 40K series go. And so let's talk about all this going on. And my Warhammer 40K fans, you heretics, hit the like and subscribe button, please. I really appreciate you all for being here. And, this has been a wild ride over the last few months. And we've been selling a lot of books because the Black Library, we know, has gotten pretty woke as well. And so I have a non-woke, space crusade, let's call it. And it's a trilogy on Amazon that you'll absolutely love if you love the old Horus Heresy stuff. This is just action-packed and something for you. So I've got, like I said, a full trilogy on Amazon. This is Justified, Saga of the Nano Templar. You got Sanctified and Glorified on here as well. We have this on audio. My audio producer is currently working on Sanctified. We had a little snag on this, actually. The original audiobook producer died suddenly. Like, he had a brain hemorrhage. It sucks. And yes, he gets royalties on that, and his family still gets taken care of on this, so it's kind of nice. But we are trying to move it forward with my new audiobook producer. So stay with me on those two as those come out soon. But they are available on print and ebook. Otherwise, it's in the description below. Thank you so much for being there and supporting us. All right. So the new rumor claims Games Workshop and Amazon are entirely content to let Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K live-action TV or film project die. Now, we heard rumors that there's a big December landmark coming, where basically they got to give a pitch for the show and figure out kind of the basic terms of it. Otherwise, it doesn't move forward to the next stage. These things take a long time to develop, as we know. And it looks like there's not been a lot of, simpatico understandings between Amazon, Henry Cavill, and Games Workshop, which makes sense. In their 2024 annual report, the company seemingly confirmed a rumor from Arch, who claimed in June, right now the agreement principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story to be turned into a Warhammer 40K television show. They have, I believe, a few more months on this deadline before this project, and they have to hand it in, and then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed in hopes that they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. He added, those are the three opportunities. Either they'll have a project they'll go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try to get a decent product going. On the words, nothing is finalized yet. Nothing. There isn't even money for the project allocated, as far as my insider can tell me on Amazon's behalf. No writer's staff has been truly hired. No money has been truly allocated. No plans have been truly made. In the company's annual report, it stated Games Workshop and Amazon are working together for a period of 12 months ending in December 2024 to agree on creative guidelines for the films and television series to be developed by Amazon. The agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon. We will update you accordingly. It also detailed that if things go well, Amazon has the rights to develop Warhammer Fantasy as well. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that train wreck? Under the terms of the agreement, Games Workshop has granted exclusive rights to Amazon in relation to the films, television series set within the Warhammer 40K universe, together with an option for Amazon to license the equivalent rights for Warhammer Fantasy Universe following the release of the initial Warhammer 40K production. So Arch updated everybody, I think yesterday, and he said, it has been complete radio silence on the matter of the TV show ever since we had the last update the last time around. It appears as if both Amazon Games Workshop are entirely content to just let the project die, honestly. Even with a 1-month extension to January, nothing seems to have been produced. No money allocated, no accounts have been created, no contracts signed, etc. Arch provided details on Henry Cavill's role. It was announced in 2023 he would be championing a group of screenwriters to bring Warhammer 40K to live action. He'd be serving as executive producer. They stated in a blog post, on Games Workshop. All we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the settings and characters you love to the screen. This illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and spear to the project. As for when the first project might arrive, Games Workshop detailed TV and film production is a mammoth undertaking, and it's not unusual for projects to take 2 or 3 years from this point before it arrives on screen. In his update, he says Henry Cavill's influence is likely extraordinarily limited if he has any influence in the matter at all in the moment. He doesn't have an employment contract with Amazon or Games Workshop, merely the promise that if the product ever actually does go through, he will have a role in it. So that's kind of a sad thing. If you're at this point in the process and you've got Henry Cavill, I mean, gosh, these people are dumb. It's like they don't even want to make money. Both sides have concession. The female custodies things was almost guaranteed to move on behalf of Games Workshop to placate Amazon or demonstrate to them what would happen if they were to push for female Space Marines. Massive outcry, that is. And to hammer it home to them that, yeah, this is not going to be a very good idea. It's interesting that there was always rumors that Amazon was demanding the female custodies thing, but maybe they were creating the outcry intentionally to show Amazon that they shouldn't do something like that. That's 4D chess right there from Games Workshop if that's the case. Probably would backfire though, because if Amazon saw this kind of thing and saw the backlash, they knew they'd get it and they knew they wouldn't have a good return on their investment, and that might be what's killing the deal for real. That would make a lot of sense at that point. And so Henry Cavill is just stuck in the middle with no power, and that's really sad because he's the one who really should be making this. If anybody could do it, he could. Meanwhile, of course, Amazon has diversity quotas. They also want the Space Marines. They're not interested in an Imperial Guard show, I'd reckon, because they're not a poster child, even if an Imperial Guard show would be, well, cheaper, and 2, more easily relatable, and 3, just make a movie out of Caiaphas Cain. Henry Cavill would be so goddamn well, and it would. And they did give Games Workshop the account access, for example, and flags of various items in Amazon's websites to take down things of Games Workshop that were, in opinion, in violation of their trademark. So interesting stuff right here. I do think that this is probably dead, and I think it's a good thing, honestly, and that's a good thing, as they often say in the media. At this level, like if you think about what Amazon's done with shows and just done with fantasy properties to begin with, you look at Wheel of Time. You guys remember Wheel of Time? Oh my gosh, what a train wreck that was. I'm a big Wheel of Time fan. I've read those books like three times, which is a lot. If you've seen how big a door stoppers those are, it's an undertaking. And Robert Jordan was one of my heroes growing up. And when I saw this come to screen like this, it was just the most sad thing for me. I think it's honestly so much worse than Rings of Power that it's just an embarrassment. And Rings of Power is an embarrassment to Tolkien. If you look at what they did on that fantasy show, same exact thing. Even with The Boys, I don't know if you ever read the comic The Boys by Garth Ennis. That was like meant to be like a very edgy, dark, grimdark superhero sort of thing. And they turned it into this like giant like diversity anti-Trump rant with a ton of degeneracy in it. Amazon really screws up every single property they touch on this kind of a level, and it's because they want to sink their little political tendrils into this stuff. It's very important to them. And you know that's exactly what they want to do with Warhammer 40K. I think Games Workshop, frankly, is happy to do so because they would love to have a political sort of thing going on. You've seen what they've done over the last year, and if that was just a test to kind of show Amazon it's not viable, I mean, they're not acting like it. That's a thought, but I don't think Games Workshop's really playing that kind of 4D chess themselves. I think Games Workshop hates their own player base. They'd be happy to do the same thing as Amazon and actually move their products to act more like an Amazon show than otherwise. And I think this is going to be a big problem for Games Workshop. I think they are banking on getting some of their properties made and these options paying off for them. Because I think the player base is decreasing at this point because they're inattention to the lore. They're obvious not caring for what's going on anymore. And gosh, it's just really, really sad to watch. I wish Henry Cavill could just have carte blanche to do what he wants. They should just give people like that, a lot more power, because every time they do it, you see this. Like when they make a good production of anything, and it actually pays attention to the lore and it actually has a real fan like working on something, it always goes very, very well. I mean, we see it. Here's a picture of Space Marine 2. Clearly, those guys cared about Warhammer 40K. They produced a wonderful property, and it worked out. But for some reason, these Hollywood studios just shun that kind of thing. It's sad to watch. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button, and make sure to grab my Justified Saga of the Nano Templar and its 2 sequels, Sanctified and Glorified, on Amazon. It's in the description below. Thank you guys so much for being there and supporting us. We'll be back soon.